Hello everyone, welcome back to Chemical Process Design course video with me Anggit Raksajati. We will continue our second case study about the synthesis of acetone from isopropyl alcohol, and specifically we will discuss about the sensitivity analysis of the reactor. Again, a quick reminder of the overall flow sheet that we will build based on the process configuration that we discussed in the previous video. Now we will only focus on the reactor itself to finalize the operating condition of this reactor with regards with the pressure and the temperature. We already have something in mind in the previous video that the pressure has to be low, the temperature will be advantageous if it's operated at high temperature, and now we will understand the sensitivity when we varies the temperature and the pressure of this reactor system. Okay, the steps of the simulation, we will have a sensitivity analysis using a Gibbs reactor as a function of pressure and temperature of the reactor. So we will not use the conversion reactor or even the PFR directly in this simulation. We will change it later, probably in the next video. Now we just want to focus on the Gibbs reactor. And I think it's a good time to introduce you to this kind of reactor, which allow you to model a reactor without attaching any reaction set. That means we don't have to specify the stoichiometry equation for Gibbs reactor. The Gibbs reactor will find any combination that will minimize the Gibbs free energy. Okay, and when we minimize the Gibbs free energy, that means it will be the most spontaneous reaction. After HYSYS help us to find the minimum Gibbs free energy condition, of course HYSYS will calculate the composition of the equilibrium to calculate the product mixture composition. And then we will vary the pressure and the temperature so that we will be able to get this kind of charts directly from HYSYS as a function of temperature, for example, here in the x-axis, and the y-axis is the conversion of the reactor. Okay, so let's start directly to HYSYS. I will continue my previous file about the acetone VLE, which already defined my component and the fluid package or the property package, which is using a unique WAP coupled with the Peng-Robinson EOS. So I will save as, write my previous simulation, say it's a acetone reactor sensitivity. Okay, so let's add our feed stream. And then go into the reactor. Again, we will start with the Gibbs reactor. So I will connect it. Let me rename it. Okay. Unknown composition. So now we will put the composition again. This is the importance of making the binary upper liquid equilibrium in the previous video. Now we can get the actual azeotropic composition. Okay, let's say it's about 88% mass fraction, so I will put that number. Instead of a mole fraction, I will change the basis to the number now. Okay, that will be close to the azeotropic composition at atmospheric pressure. Okay, unknown temperature and pressure. Previously in the we talked about the pressure has to be quite low. If I remember correctly, I put 2 bar as my starting point. Let's use that as a starting point, and then unknown temperature. So again, we discussed about it in the previous video that it has to be quite high because it's an endothermic reaction. So let's say starting point would be 350 degrees C. In terms of the mass flow, again, it's not really a problem because we haven't reach into the sizing stage, so you can use any starting point. Let's say we want to produce the product at 10 ton per hour, so it must be much higher than those numbers. So let's say I'm going to use 20 ton per hour for now, just for the study basis. Okay, now it's ready. Okay, so I will open my Gibbs reactor. Requires a feed stream. So define the inlet or feed. Requires a product stream, so vape product. Requires another product stream, so it is quite similar with the conversion reactor, that you need to define two products, one for vapor and one for liquid, regardless of the phase of the reactor. Okay, so you probably notice that without having to define any other parameter, now it's already gives us a green bar, which is it's already converged. Okay, energy, it's optional. If we don't define any energy stream over here, that means it will be modeled as adiabatic reactor. Okay, and we can check the performance by looking at the worksheet, and also I click the shift T to look at the temperature. Now the temperature changes from 350 to 173.7. Why? Again, because this is endothermic reaction, and if it's performed adiabatically, that means the energy or the heat required to perform those endothermic reaction has to be taken from the heat temperature. Okay, but if we want to make it as an isothermal composition or isothermal reaction, that means we have to provide the energy. Okay, let's say you reactor. Once you do that, we have the energy stream now, and now it's not complete anymore. Okay, why? Because either we have to define the amount of the energy supply, or we can define the outlet temperature. Okay, let's say we want to keep the temperature to be isothermal, so the vapor product has to be same number, 350 degrees. By defining those number, now the Q reactor can be calculated as about 4.54 kilowatt. Okay, let's save it, and you can check the composition. Okay, this is in mole fraction. So from 68% something of propanol, now the vape product, you can see that all the product will be in the vapor side. So we can ignore this liquid product column. Okay, let's focus on the vapor product. From the 8% of propanol, we get around 40% of acetone, 2%. Which is a good thing. It already gives us a quite high conversion. Okay, the propanol was 0. Okay, the acetone is already formed, our main products. Okay, so now how can you calculate the conversion of this Gibbs reactor? Because if you go back to the reaction, you can see that reactor type is Gibbs reaction only. That's why we don't really have to specify any stoichiometry. The reaction stoichiometry is not known. You can change it to specify equilibrium reaction. If you want to do it, that means you have to go back to the properties and define the stoichiometric equation. Okay, and if you go to the details, you can see that there is no way that HISE will calculate the conversion of the Gibbs reactor. Why? Because they don't even know the equation of the reaction. Okay, so because of this, it's very easy to use a Gibbs reactor if your condition if our product is actually the most spontaneous product reaction. Okay, the problem is now we don't have a proper evaluation of the reactor itself. Okay, so even to calculate the conversion, now I will use another feature in this. So you see the table over here, a spreadsheet. So it's like having a spreadsheet, like a Microsoft Excel directly in HISE. So without identifying the reaction stoichiometry, I still want to calculate the conversion of this reactor. Okay, how let's get to the feed condition. Change the basis. Fraction, let's a mole flow. The propanol will come at about 292 kilomole per hour. Then let me paper product. Change the basis to mole flow. Side by. Now let us define the equation to calculate the conversion reactor in the spreadsheet. Okay, this is fit, this is the product. Okay, so I will import all the numbers that will be required to calculate the conversion. Okay, so at import. Okay, remember your reaction engineering course. How would you able to calculate the conversion of this reactor? You can calculate it as a function of the amount of the feed, the propanol, the reactant, with the propanol at the tip of the reactor. That's calculating the conversion of the reactor as propanol basis. Okay, so you just have to go to the feed, and then we need to find the molar flow, not the overall flow, but only the molar flow of this single compound. Okay, so in that case you can use the molar flow here because this is the overall flow of the feed stream. What you want to find is only the molar flow of propanol. In that case, you go to the master composition flow, use the propanol. Okay, right arrow, done. The number will be sent to cell A1. Okay, cell A1 can be shown in the. Okay, you can check the number 292.847. Match our number. Okay, and then again, think about the other variables that has to be defined to calculate the another import. We already identified the feed parts. Now we have to define the product part. Stream is a product. We go into the same variables. Done. A1, A2. Okay. Even you can check the number shown in the correct color. Blue, that means it's manipulated variable. Black, that means it's dependent variable. Okay, now let's type the conversion. Okay, conversion in percent. What would be the formula? The formula would be A1, which is amount of the propanol in the feed. A2, amount of molar flow in the feed of the reactor, divided by the propanol in the feed. That's still in fraction. If you wanna express in percentage. Okay, so as you can see now, we can very certain now that at 350 degrees C, about 2 bar, the conversion of the reactor will be around 7%. Very high. It's a good starting point. And we can confirm about the possibility of working at different conditions. How will that affect our conversion? Let's say you want to change it manually first. Okay, so let's start with changing the pressure. Instead of a 2 bar, now I want to operate at 10 bar. Okay, again remember the stoichiometry of the reaction. we have 1 mole of IPA become 1 mole of hydrogen plus 1 mole of acetone. 1 mole becomes 2 mole. That means if we increase the pressure, that will shift the reaction to the feed side. That means the conversion should be lower, okay, fundamentally. Okay, see the number match. Once we change from 2 bar to 10 bar, it doesn't give us any. We need more pressure, we need more higher pump, conversion doesn't increase. Okay, not good. About 20, conversion even becomes smaller. Okay, so let's convert it back to 2 bar. That justifies our selection that the pressure of the reactor should be close to 2 bar. How about the temperature? Okay, let's check about the temperature. Now, is it really necessary to perform at 350 degrees C? Let's change it to, let's say, starting from 100 degrees C. Okay, now maybe you seem something strange. Why changing my temperature from 350, conversion is still 97%. Okay, it is endothermic reaction, so it's supposed to give us a lower conversion if it's operated at a lower temperature. But you already noticed from the flow sheet that the temperature of the outlet doesn't change. It's still defined as 350 degrees C. Why? Again, you just check the color. Okay, this is a blue color. That means it's a independent variable. I put this number a couple of minutes ago. Okay, that's why it doesn't change. So now the idea is to have a isothermal reaction. When we change it to 100 degrees C, the outlet has to be changed to 100 degrees. That means the Q reactor has to be adjusted. Okay, so the question now, how can we set the temperature of the outlet of the reactor to be the same with the feed the reactor? Okay, even I can change it to 200, the exit will always be as 350 because that is still considered to be independent variable for me. So I have to change it to be a dependent variable. Question is how. If I manipulate the Q reactor, I can't really find the correct number as well. So I need to go to palette again and go to the manipulator. Okay, good time. Introduce you to another manipulator. We already use spreadsheet, we already use recycle, we already use adjust in the previous case study. Now it's you to use set manipulator. Okay, click. Okay, you have a target variable and you have a source. Source means the reference point. Target variable means the number that you want to give. Okay, in this case, we want to have a target variable as the temperature exit of the reactor, and the source will be the feed temperature of the reactor. Every time I change my feed temperature, please change my exit temperature accordingly. So that's the objective. Okay, so the target variable now will be my vapor product, not the flow but the temperature, because that's the variable that I want to set. Okay, please change my temperature of the vapor product based on my source. The source is obviously the feed. Okay, now you have some consistency error. So don't worry too much. Okay, just read it carefully. Okay, read it carefully. What's the problem? The temperature of the vapor product now becomes inconsistent. Why? Because we initially specified it has to be 350 degrees C, but now it is calculated by the manipulator. This actually has to be 200 degrees C to match the feed composition. So we have to delete one of those input. Of course, we will not delete the set function because that's our manipulator. So now the easy solution is for us to delete the initial number, which is 350 degrees. Okay, how to do that? Go to the vapor product stream. You see that it's 350 degrees C. Just delete it. We don't need that number anymore. Why? Because that number will now be calculated based on set. Okay, you can as well go to the parameter before I activate my simulation again. So the default of the set function would be the target will always be 1 times the multiplier. In this case, the multiplier is 1, the default value, plus C. C is the offset. Okay, so what does that mean? If the default is like this, multiplier is 1 and the offset is C, that means my paper product temperature, the Y, will be 1 times dx. Dx is the temperature of the feed, 200 degrees C, plus 0. So the answer should be 200. Let's activate. Okay, looks good as we want. Okay, now I can play around with the temperature. Okay, I want to divert it back to 350. Every time I change my feed temperature, now my product temperature will be adjusted as well. 100 degrees C. Okay, check the temperature already changed. Even if you look more closely, my conversion already changed as well. Now it perfectly makes sense. For endothermic reaction, when I decrease my temperature, the equilibrium will give us a lower. Okay, so everything is ready for us to allow a more detailed sensitivity analysis. Before I go to that, you can play around with the offset. So let's say now you don't want to operate at isothermal, so you can play around with the offset. If it's say 50 degrees C, okay, so the offset means the plus part. Multiplier is still 1, that means now your product temperature will be the temperature of your feed plus 50 degrees C. You can see the number 150 degrees C. The offset is 50 degrees. Okay, I revert it back to my initial starting point, exit at 400 degrees C. So again, this is a very helpful feature to help you make some relationship between two variables. Okay, even the multiplier. Okay, multiplier change it to 2, for example. In 1. I guess that's for another. Let's keep it this way because this is already giving our objective. Okay, you can play around with the temperature. 250 degrees C, and is 85.3. 150 degrees C, percent is 34. Okay, but you think that this is still too manual. Okay, I don't like to change it manually. I don't like to observe the number one at a time. I want to look every possible numbers, every consequence to the conversion of the reactor. Okay, that's very easy to do. So we'll close everything here now because the fluid is almost ready. Okay, the setup is now ready for us going into the case study. So check in the left part of HYSYS, there is a case study, and then you click add. This is where you can perform a sensitivity analysis where you vary certain variables in certain range and then you observe the results to some selected variables. As you notice, we have two types of variables. The first one is the independent variables. This is the input that you will manipulate. Okay, and dependent variable is the observed result. Okay, so go to the find variables for the independent variable first. In this case, we want to vary the reactor feed condition. So we can do that by selecting the feed stream and then find the variable. So let's find the temperature first. Right arrow and then pressure. Okay, done. We will see the number of the current value based on our last adjustment, 2 bar and 150 degrees C. For the dependent variable, you can perform the same exercise. Now you need to find the conversion of the reactor. Remember, where can you find it? You can check the Gibbs reactor. but actually they don't provide you the conversion. Why? Because they don't even have the stoichiometry equation itself. Actually, we define it in the spreadsheet. That's why you choose the spreadsheet, and then we have option either A2 or A4 cell, and our result is defined in A4. A2 is the one of the input to get into the calculation. Okay, select that, done. So the current conversion is about 34.23%. Once you finish with the variable selection, you can select to the case study setup. This is where you can define the range of the sensitivity analysis. Okay, your current value is 150. Let's say I want to vary between 100 until 400. And the step size will be for every 50 degrees C. So that will give me 7 points of sensitivity analysis. For the pressure, current value is 2. Let's say I want to vary between 2 to 10 bar for every 2 bar. So I have 5 variation of pressure, and in total I will have 35 variations. Okay, 35 number of states. Once you finish with that, you can click run, and then hold on for probably only a second or two, and then you will see the result in results. This is expressed in a table, so you can do that and even export it to Excel if you want to manipulate it later. Okay, but if you just want to see the results, the trends, you can go to the plots. Okay, and as you see over here, you can see that the temperature, or the first manipulated variable, will be shown as the x-axis. The dependent variable will be as y-axis, and the pressure, the second input, will be as a different series. Okay, and this is actually very useful for us to confirm or justify our selection in the operating conditions of the reactor. So we have 5 series over here, and we can estimate, or we can guess, that the top one, the highest conversion, should be for the lowest pressure selected. In this case, this is 2 bar, 4 bar, 6 bar, 8 bar, and 10 bar. While the temperature already explained, self-explanatory, I guess. It's the x-axis, and you can evaluate or analyze these results. For example, once you want to go into your PFR design, what would be the pressure, temperature, and the realistic conversion? Okay, so let's say you want to achieve high conversion above 90%. Let's draw imaginary line, horizontal. So based on these results, if you want to achieve more than 90% conversion, it has to be operated at more than 350 degrees C. Okay, there is no way you will get 90% conversion if you want to operate at below 250 degrees C. Okay, so that justifies our selection. And you can also copy and paste these results. So just right click and then copy, scale by 100%. Let's say you want to move it to Excel or to Word or PowerPoint. It's really up to you depending on our needs. Okay, Control V, that's it. They give you the final results, and the same thing can be done for you to copy and paste your number. Okay, so I guess that sums up the simulation for our case. Now it justifies our selection, so now I will confirm that I will operate at 350 degrees C at 2 bar. Okay, and then I check again my spreadsheet. Okay, it gives me maximum conversion. Okay, this is very important. For Gibbs reactor, the conversion, if you perform it this way, this is the maximum conversion. Let's say if you have a very, very big unlimited space of reactor. So if you want to define your actual conversion for your PFR, it's better for you to round down the number slightly below this maximum conversion. Okay, you don't want unlimited reactor area. It's gonna be very costly. Okay, so let's say we want to round it down to 90%. I guess that would be more logical, and that is very achievable at this operating conditions. Okay, so once I go back into my complete simulation in the next video. I will define my conversion reactor and I will define my PFR as 90%. Okay, I will not link the Gibbs reactor directly into my main simulation. Why? Because I don't want to use the unlimited reactor size. I don't want to use my maximum conversion size. It's gonna be better if we directly use our selected actual conversion. Okay, I guess that's it for now. I hope it helps you with the understanding of the reactor performance. In the next video, we will talk about the feed preparation in terms of the pump, heat exchanger, cooler, and then absorber part, and then 2 distillations and the recycle to complete the recycle loop. Okay, see you in the next video.